In this episode of Exposed, we talk to John Owens, aka Frame Voyager, probably best known for his ultra-long video manuals on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K and 6K Pro. It's a really fun interview. We cover a broad range of topics, so let's go ahead and learn more from the man himself. So John, thank you for joining me on the show today to talk about everything about you. I don't know if anyone actually knows how we first kind of met, because that's kind of an interesting story. So I'll probably tell that to everyone right now. I basically found you from a hit piece video that you did on Gerald Undone and Make Art Now. I call it a hit piece. It was kind of a little dig at them. But then I saw you streaming randomly one night, and this is how it all started. You were doing a stream about Artlist, and we ended up talking what was it, 8 to 10 hours or something? It was something crazy like that, right?
Yeah, I was on, I think it was 10, 12 hour live stream of me just straight downloading as many Artlist songs. I think they've figured out how I was downloading all the songs and fixed it since then. But yeah, 12 hours just straight of downloading Artlist songs for an Artlist project.
Yeah, it was a pretty epic live stream. And then from that, I joined your Discord, and I think a few other people joined the Discord at that time as well. And then, we became closer. That sounds really weird to say it that way, but we talked a lot more from there. Yeah, been through a lot on the Discord channel. It's
it always cracks me up when I'm like, oh yeah, that's how we met. Very very strange.
Kind of weird to explain to people. We spent 10 hours together. And
I mean, you were the one. Sure, I was sitting there for 12 hours downloading stuff and then trying to talk to a camera, but you were also up until 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah, because of the time difference. So I don't know. Yeah, people watching the channel, if they don't know, I'm in South Korea and you were over in the US. So there's big time difference, but it was me and a couple other people. We were, going along with you on that massive live stream. But
fun.
I digress. For the people who don't know you, which they should, because you're a much larger channel than I am, who is John Owens? John Owens IV. What's all that about?
Yes. Oh, it just long family dynasty, I guess, of John Owens, which oddly enough, we're all the same kind of person. We're all we have the creative, but more the enterprising kind of, we like to run our own stuff. So it's kind of in the family. My dad's in radio, so I ended up in
your dad is in radio.
Yeah.
Oh, in radio.
Yeah. So he used to do morning shows and all that kind of stuff. So I was used to growing up and waking up at 5 a.m. with him and going into work and talking into a microphone and stuff. So never been really super shy about doing any of this. Just kind of grew up in that world. Maybe not in the video world, but kind of ended up in it. But yeah, where do you want me to start? I've done a lot of stuff.
Oh, who is John Owens the person? So yeah, I think what most people will gather from your YouTube, you're a big Blackmagic user.
Yes.
And you obviously do projects. I think we see more of that on the Discord rather than on your YouTube. I don't know if you show much of your professional work on your YouTube, really. You show some behind the scenes on Discord. But what kind of work do you normally do aside from the YouTube part?
Aside from the YouTube, yeah, I work with a lot of corporate companies, typically, because that's, it's always great to work with corporate companies. But I do a lot of in the manufacturing industry. Oddly enough, I do a lot of HGTV style documentary kind of episode stuff where we go explore new technology or 3D printing or any of that kind of cool stuff. So kind of oddly in that world. I do some other projects, the typical, I filmed a music video. I did a wedding one time, hated it, never did that again. Just typical stuff like that. Or I've done some travel filming for some companies, getting stock footage, B-roll that they use. And then obviously documentary work for myself that I find fun. That's just different than what I do on the channel. But, yeah, I would say a lot of my favorite professional work that I do is on the YouTube channel, because it really is the kind of content I like making, and it's just stuff that I can go full craziness with how I like making videos. So
yeah, I would probably describe you as someone who does YouTube very well. I think you take it definitely to another level in some of your videos and stuff. But going all the way back, actually, I don't want to give a hint about the next question, but I'm assuming your dad, very in radio, very creative. When was the first time that you kind of picked up a camera or you started getting into the video side, or did you start with photography first or anything like that?
I mean, kids, when you're younger and stuff, because I guess when I was, being 27, like I was just all the digital cameras were just kind of coming out when I was getting old enough. So it was all those like cheap those cheap cameras you could get that had like 2 megapixels or whatever. So
right.
Yeah. I remember which camera did I use first? I remember getting this camera for Christmas. It was like the first time they had like screens on the back of the cameras. It was just like, awful, like maybe like below 480p like resolution on the screen.
Right.
But I remember probably like 10 or 12. And then just using that and doing stupid stuff with it. Like, I'm trying to remember what the toys names were. You could like, those like toys you can like build different things and they have motors and stuff. And you can like build
Lego
cars.
Technic stuff?
Yeah, like Lego Technic stuff. My brother is, who's also into audio right now. But he's like very much an engineer kind of like mindset, likes to build things. So he would build that. And then we'd build like a cage for the camera and then put it like on the top of the stairs and then like send it down the stairs and stuff and film it. So, bring it. Yeah. So I don't know. I've always been like loving trying crazy things with cameras, and it probably started my fact that I don't always treat my cameras super nice. I mean, I take care of them, but I'm not afraid to go crazy with them.
So young age, you played around with cameras and things, but did you do any like formal education in cinematography or anything like that?
Yeah, I have going past that, going through high school and all that, doing all the typical lightsaber videos and stuff that, I think everyone in high school always does. No formal training. I went to have a business degree, so in business and organizational leadership. So I always describe myself, and a lot of my creative friends describe myself as kind of an odd creative, in the fact that I am very much as much of a left brain thinker as I am a right. I have my creative like manic side, but I also very logical and can actually like get things done in a logical way. So really helps me as far as like running a business, making sure that I'm getting everything done instead of too much getting into that creative side. But yeah, I have a business degree, pretty much learned everything about cameras just from YouTube, reading manuals, reading camera manuals, which I've...
Good plug there.
Yeah, good plug.
Link up here if you do want to go see those videos.
Which, I don't know, like, you hear a lot about people in the industry, even in like making movies and stuff, about people who didn't really finish film school or didn't really go through it all. It's just, to me, it's always been about, if you want to do something, just go out and figure out how to learn it, whether it's finding resources for it. It's not like, if I was going to be a doctor, obviously I'm not just going to like, I'm going to research this all online and like cut someone open just from, but right. With art, you can't get that formal education. And while I think it's important to have some of that, I also think sometimes having that formal education can also hurt, your ability to like explore other things that aren't in whatever that formal education would be. So if that makes sense. And, you see a lot of stuff in community groups and stuff now where it's like, you have to use this camera or this, or do it within this strict guidelines, or, you're not a professional, you're not a cinematographer, you're not a videographer, whatever. Like with autofocus, people hate the fact that when anyone wants to bring up autofocus in a cinema camera, you're not professional. And that's not how the cinema, it's not how film people do it.
Right.
I'm much more, I think because I'm not from like that, it kind of helps me to be like, I don't know, I'm just going to explore everything. Whatever helps me to create whatever creative vision I want is what I'm going to go after. And I don't really care if it's what's used or the correct way to use it within the industry. If it works and it works well and it helps to tell the story and it's not distracting from the story. Yeah. So that's, Note that went to a tangent, but...
Well, that's the end of the interview, guys. Thanks for watching. But I actually went to university. Like, I actually wasn't going to go to university at first. My sister pushed me to do it. I was probably going to go into retail work, I think, at one point. But my sister was like, oh, you like doing like stuff with some cameras and stuff, so why don't you try going to university? And I basically went through a thing called clearing, which is like after everyone's kind of done all the formal applications, they have these like spaces left, and you can kind of just call up the university and be like, hey, can I join this course or whatever? And there's like big lists and stuff. And I actually did a film and television production course, but I totally agree. Like, to be honest, I didn't really learn anything. The only thing that it gave me was the time to kind of self-learn. And at that point, 2007 to 2010, that was like, After Effects, Video Copilot, stuff like that. And yeah, back then the cameras that we were using, like I think it was Sony Z1s or something like camcorder style stuff. And we never really did any film things. But yeah, it kind of gave me that time to learn. So I would say, I guess advice for people, maybe don't think as university is like going to give you, it's not going to give you the knowledge, but it might give you some connections all the time to further your career in certain things. But to be honest, the other people who did my course, I think only one person actually works in media in any kind of capacity aside from myself, which is kind of interesting. So,
well, it's fascinating too, because it's like universities tend to have people who ended up not being in the industry teaching you. So, or some,
that's huge. Yeah, that's a huge thing. Oh God. When you're better than your teachers, like artistically or creatively or whatever, or just technically better than your teachers, that's when, you really lose faith in a course.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to diss going to the university or whatever to learn how to film and all that. Like, I think it just depends on the kind of person you are. Cause like, I know some people like structure, and within structure, they can do really well. But if it's like, if they go my route, which like, I just do everything, learn everything in my own time, and no one really pushes me to do it, I've always been good at like self-learning or going after the things I want to do. So, but I get, there's that balance, right? Like you have to have that formal knowledge, but at the same time, you have to be flexible enough to like, if you want to be good, you have to learn how to think outside the box a lot of times. And yeah, I've always felt like education's great, but education also makes you think, forces you inside a box, and I don't a lot of times. But yeah.
I think I totally agree with that. Like, I think the self-learning aspect, there's like two sides of it. One, you're going to like do problem solving. So you usually research something like, how do I do this? Or there's a problem with this, like, how do I fix it? And you also kind of follow your interests a bit more. With formal education, they kind of follow like a set syllabus, which, there's obviously going to be topics that are either not relevant to you or you just don't care. Like maybe they're not even relevant to that time. There's some of the weird stuff that we learned at university never has applied to anything that I've ever done professionally. So really, really strange. But do you think someone starting out, new person, obviously, aside from your own channel, which is a great resource for people who definitely want to get into like the Blackmagic cinema cameras, where would you send people? Like, are there any other channels that you think a really good place to start for people who either know nothing or they have a little bit of interest in doing kind of the work that we do?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're wanting to learn. Like, if you're wanting to learn technical stuff, right? And while it gets really bogged down on his channel, Gerald Undun's a great place if you just want to like really like make sure what you're understanding about a certain topic is true. And granted, he doesn't always get it right, but found he's a pretty good resource. I also really like reading a lot more sometimes when I'm trying to learn about things than watching videos, just because sometimes it's really hard to find video content that's like fully vetted, I guess. So like No Film School's pretty good. I think that's what they're called. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember some others. Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of good resources. At least the people who write the articles and stuff somewhat vet things, But I guess with some other, along with Gerald Undun, was it Josh Yeo with
Make Art Now?
Yeah, really like him because, again, he's one of those people that thinks outside the box and does weird technical stuff with his cameras, but also tells it in an interesting way. So, yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to get started with video and you want to learn some stuff, they're great channels. Peter Walbeck I think is a great one if you want. I think that's what his name is, right? Peter Walbeck. He's great if you're wanting to get really into that corporate kind of filmmaking, I think, and you want to take some tips and stuff from him. His stuff's good. It's weird because like while I make a ton of content in the space, I don't consume a ton of.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's
interesting because I am non-stop watching. I'm always watching YouTube. I watch way more YouTube than I make. But that's how I kind of keep up to date with a lot of stuff.
I watch YouTube a ton. I just don't watch like camera channels too much. Like there's specific ones I watch, and other than that, I'll watch other content. Like I love watching like gaming content. Well, it depends on the game. Like it has to be interesting. It can't just be someone sitting and streaming. Like I like what is some shit? Like Mr. Beast's channel's fun because it's crazy out of the box thinking, and even they're doing some interesting things now with cinematography and the way they do videos. Who else do I watch? I also watch like some YouTube guru kind of people, like who is it? Channel makers and who's the other guy? But yeah, I watch some of their stuff just to see like, you know, what's the better way to tell stories and make content within YouTube. So that's more of the stuff I watch is more like trying to figure out YouTube and how to make more interesting content. Because sometimes I find like going outside the industry to find some ideas and sources is good because, you know, and I'll still use this, you know, the typical industry tropes and stuff in videos, but like trying to get fresh stuff and fresh ideas to bring back into your industry is always a good idea, and to look and see what other people are doing, even if it's not the camera industry. So that's where I always try to look for more inspiration. Honestly, I find more inspiration from there sometimes. Our Discord group is definitely where I find a ton of inspiration. That's how I approach YouTube. I don't love watching content that's too similar to mine or it's all about cameras. Now I will if I want to find information out, you know, I'm like specifically doing it, but I don't typically go and just watch for fun, I guess, a lot. Like go watch Peter McKinnon or something. You know, it's kind of like, I'm gonna go on.
Peter McKinnon's an interesting one. I used to watch Peter McKinnon, but I don't anymore. Like since he got too big. Yeah. I guess I don't know if that's too hipster, but like, you know, when someone gets too large and then you kind of this is not for me anymore.
It's hard because
it's not like I ever looked up to him really. Like he was a cool character to begin with, and you know, and then I guess one of his videos just exploded. I think it was like the 5 tricks in like 1 minute or whatever.
Yeah, because he was like the first person that did that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, he grew exponentially, and then the content just became less interesting as a thing. And he's a Canon fanboy, so there's another reason why. Yeah.
I know, which is always the hardest like thing to fall into when you're doing like YouTube around a specific topic, like cameras. Like I love Blackmagic, so everyone just thinks I'm a Blackmagic fanboy, which I mean,
kind of true though.
Kind of true, but you know, so that's why you just like start trying to branch out into other stuff as slowly, you know, so you don't freak everyone out. Like, oh, he's going away from Blackmagic content. Because it's always the pitfall of being a YouTuber is like you become known for this specific subject, and then it's like, all right, well that's great, but now I gotta like expand so more, you know, you can reach a broader audience and not be seen as just like this one person in it. So, and I kind of like doing that by having other people join me for topics that I don't like necessarily know a ton about. Like, you know, I just find it's better. And that's honestly where the channel's headed, is adding more people into it besides just me. Because I always think that I always love channels like Linus Tech Tips. One I love watching and trying to replicate some of the stuff they do. Just because it's like you're not just getting one person. You have that one fun host who's like knows a little bit about everything and is great himself, but then he has all these other people working with him that also know about everything else. So
right.
So I kind of always like channels that do that, or Corridor Crew's another good one.
Right, yeah, they're fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, because it's
always... But right now, I think even they have become a little bit too much, hey, this video is sponsored by... Now, I really hate their sponsored segments in their videos. Yeah. And I know, as a YouTuber myself, that's just part of the business, but it's just like, it seems... I think there's a pitfall at one point where if every video you make is sponsored, your channel is now different. Like that, it doesn't seem like they're making videos which are not sponsored anytime.
Yeah.
To me, anyway.
Which, I mean, I guess it depends on like if it's sponsored by, like some of the people who are always sponsored by the camera company that they're getting they're testing the cameras out from. I mean, and I think
that's an acceptable thing, but when it's like Raid Shadow Legends or something like that, where it's just like, come on, it's just a cash grab kind of thing.
True. Yeah. It is hard too, because you're trying to balance the fact that you're wanting to put out good content, but at the same time you're trying to make money off of it so you can pay people and expand everything. And I think it's one of those things too where it like the more money you can bring in for a YouTube channel, as hard as it is to watch sometimes, it does help because they can expand their content library and they can keep doing the content that they're watching in the first place. So some of it's that necessary trade-off, like, okay, that's fine. Like, I don't necessarily love it, but at the same time, this is helping you make more content from you that I enjoy, or expanding in other ways. Cause I know their Corridor Crew's like doing a ton of stuff. Like they have their own website full of video content and they're doing videos and trying to do stuff that I already have a hard enough time trying to like keep up with my video schedule. I have no idea how they do it with all their visual effects work. Like it's insane the amount of videos they put out constantly with all that.
Yeah, I think they have several members of staff which definitely do a lot of the YouTube content, and then they have like their main people who do their VFX stuff, and then they have their little D&D like style virtual set work going on and stuff as well. So much stuff, so they must be super, super busy.
Yeah, but so I kind of get that aspect from it but yeah, at the same time, it's kind of like give and take. You have to make sure you're not selling out too much, but at the same time.
So when is your Skillshare sponsorship starting?
Yeah, I hope
when that day happens, I'm gonna be like, unsubscribe. No, I'm joking. But yeah, one day I'm sure someone will that a company like that will approach you, and then
it
is all downhill from that point.
It is kind of funny, like to reach the point where people start like, you almost wonder like how do they find channels? Like some of these companies, or they'll find, I'll just get random emails from these random companies wanting me to test out their products. I don't test out everything that I get sent, mostly because I'm like, it just either doesn't fit my channel, I don't know enough about it, or it's just kind of like, it doesn't really, I don't know what benefit it would be to the viewers. So I try to, at least when I get stuff, for the most part, have stuff that people are using or would use to test out.
Like no offense to the people who have emailed me in the past, but sometimes it's just something completely like, what? I don't want to review this. Like, give me something good. I know I'm not like at a stage yet where I'm big enough to probably deserve such an expensive product, but when it's like a $20 little on-camera light, I don't use on-camera light, so I don't even want to lie and say that things are good. So it's just like, you really got to cherry pick that stuff right from the beginning, I think, and not accept everything that you get.
Yeah. Well, and my big thing with them is always like, just letting you know, I grade things based off of how I think, how it tests, and I just say like facts. I don't try to have opinions, but I'll test it and I'm like, I'm going to be honest, whatever I think about this, and they're generally fine with that. So, now if Blackmagic sent me stuff, I might have to be a little bit more.
Grant Petty, come on.
Oh, I know.
Bring the goodies, Daddy. Come on, baby. That's what we want. We need that. Where's your Ursa 12K? Like, come on. Has he not seen your video manuals?
I could not imagine. Yeah, filming an Ursa 12K video with filming me in 12K, and I just release it in 12K, the video manual.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think even YouTube even does 12K, right? I think it's maximum 8 now, or have they got higher?
They might. Who knows? I could just release it at 12K and I guess downsample it. That would be hilarious.
So why did you initially want to start YouTube, like the Frame Voyager YouTube, if this was actually your first channel? Or was it even your first channel?
No, I've had several channels, but they've all been different. I've always liked making content. I will say definitely when Frame Voyager used to have a different name starting out because it used to be a little bit different. Yeah.
What was the name? I don't know this.
It was so you keep it pretty well hidden. So I originally had started out doing like kind of all things marketing. So we would do social media, we would do background SEO, we'd build websites and video. And with the company, So, but I kind of figured out over time, like video content just sells more and it's a lot less of a pain to kind of deal with clients with video work than it is trying to run their entire, and it just pays way better. So when I went and rebranded, I was like, I just need to rebrand. It was originally called A4 Media.
A4, like paper?
Yeah. But there was this other bigger company that had come along like a couple years after I made the name and had like taken over. Like we used to get a lot of hits online and stuff, but they kind of like took over the whole thing because they were like some multi-billion-dollar company. I'm like, I just need to change. I need to change it to something that's not super corporate-y sounding like A4 Media. I wanted to get away from that. Like I wanted people to hire me because like, you're getting this different product from me than just like, just another production company. Also didn't want to name myself after myself because not that there's anything wrong with people naming like, it'd be like John Owens Photography or whatever. If I'm going
Sounds
to
like a wedding video. Sounds like a wedding video.
Exactly. That's the problem. So when dealing with like corporate clients, you want like that fun sounding name that sounds a little bit adventurous, that sounds a little bit more creative and bigger than I am, even if I am just like a one-man person that hires a bunch of contractors. You kind of...
The secret's out.
Yeah, I know.
You're not getting John. You're not getting John on set.
Maybe, yeah. No.
Such a shame. He doesn't come. He's an expensive guy. He's not coming.
Yeah, I am.
So your company is actually called Frame Voyager. It's not just the YouTube channel.
Yeah, now it's called Frame Voyager.
Okay, that's interesting. So I don't think what was the name? Why the name Frame Voyager? I know you've explained on the Discord before, and I think you explained on the giant live stream. But like, why Frame Voyager?
It took me probably 2 or 3 months to figure out a new name because I knew I needed to do a rebrand. Oddly enough, around the same time I had gotten the Pocket 4K and had gone out with a friend to film out in, I think I mentioned this in my Pocket 4K 3-year review video I did, but we had gone out west and filmed, like we had literally hopped around all these different places like over the course of 3 or 4 days. We're exhausted, but we filmed all this stuff for like the intro video I essentially have on my channel, which I'll probably change sometime soon because it's 2 or 3 years old at this point. But yeah, I was kind of coming up with that name at that point, and I kind of liked how it sounded. It was also nothing near it. My requirements was no one's ever probably going to copy this name. And the URL's available. Nothing around the URL is even close to getting, taking my traffic. And I liked the idea. Back then, I was really wanting to go towards more filming and traveling, which, I mean, honestly, what I do still. I like none of my clients are near me. I always have to fly out to film. So having that like film, but traveling and adventure kind of aspect to it, and then also frame because it has multiple meanings. Frame Voyager, so you're exploring through the camera frame, but also I wear glasses, so it's frames. Yeah, so so multiple things, but I just like the name. My wife thinks the name's okay, so
it's okay. Yeah, great vote of confidence, Dame Voyager. Thanks so much. She took the name, at least. She took the name, so she must like it to a certain extent. Oh,
she thinks it's hilarious. That's kind of where it came from. A lot of people didn't love the name at first, but I kind of liked it because it worked for me as a corporate business name that corporate companies would be okay with, and it's fun. But it also worked really well as a YouTube branding name, and even like branding beyond YouTube, where it's like if I wanted to sell stuff or create it into some kind of like products or something in the future, it's bigger than just my name. So Frame Voyager just has a fun ring to it. There's a lot you can do with it, I think, when it comes to like content and merchandise and all that kind of stuff. So per usual, I think pretty big when I try to like again, my background's very much in marketing. So that's kind of all my ideas behind stuff are to build this, even if it's small, make sure that it's set up from the beginning to be something that can grow into something that's bigger than where it starts. Because I think a lot of people make that mistake of staying too small with stuff and not thinking about 5 years down the road, like, oh, what if I'm big? Then I'm gonna have to change it then. And then it's just a whole lot of work then.
So is the YouTube for you more of a creative outlet, or is this a way of trying to, put the feelers out and get work in some kind of way? Like if it originally started with marketing and whatever, and I'm assuming you were trying to get some people, like companies searching like, how do I do this? And then they find you, and then maybe that they email you and say, hey, we want some, one-on-one time or whatever.
Yeah, I think originally it started as a creative outlet. I mean, I definitely like everyone who does a YouTube channel wants it to grow into something and be able to do something with it. I don't know if I fully expected it to be what it is now. Kind of cool it's growing the way it is now. Kind of crazy to think 2 years ago it wasn't even like, I don't know, 500 subscribers or something. Or actually I think like 2 years ago I had like 30 subscribers. So it's just kind of strange. Wow. But it yeah, it's definitely it's a creative outlet. I love making the content. I love building the community around it. Like, it really is turned into something that's like, oh, creative outlet. I'm just going to do this fun, get it for the views, get all that stuff into like something that has a pretty good amount of purpose behind it. Just from, spending enough time in the industry now to seeing like, there's this big section where I could kind of help with a community where it's, especially when I started it too, during the pandemic, it's like everyone started doing video stuff. But because everyone started doing video stuff, it's turned into this whole thing of everyone who's in the industry doesn't like it. Not everyone, but there's certain people that the new people come and ask questions, they just get blasted or ridiculed or whatever from all these people who've been doing it forever. And I just want to kind of to create a space where it's like everyone's, invited to be part of it. It doesn't matter what industry you're in with film. It doesn't matter if you're trying to go make a movie or you're just filming, like fun little YouTube videos. I don't care. Like, you're welcome here. No questions like too dumb. So I'm just trying to create that as far as the purpose behind it, to have like a place where everyone can come for content that's fun, that you're not going to get, sure, I'll be sarcastic on camera and like make fun of rigs and stuff, but there's always the thing going back towards
people did call you out on that. They didn't like that. Like, why?
A couple people they call me a gatekeeper. Wow. I was like, well, I'm like, if you watch the video, I actually made fun of myself in it too, so yeah, people just like to hate but so that's kind of the idea. Was now it's kind of morphed into that as it's grown, of like doing it just for fun, into like, oh, I can actually like not make a difference, but like, make a community for other people too, where it's like they can come up, and enjoy an experience, and I can talk with other people like you or other people around the world in different industries and we can all learn something from each other, because I think there's a little bit of that where it's like, oh, I make films and I don't need to learn anything from anyone else who's in the corporate world. I just think if you do that on either side, kind of put yourself in a box creatively. So it's kind of what the whole goal of the channel is at this point.
So if someone was gonna make a brand new channel in the kind of field that we do, what would be the first video that you would suggest that they make? Because I'm guessing you don't want to give the best ideas away at the start, right? But you got to kind of make a video which is going to get views. I
think you try everything at first. You come up with what you want to do, why you're wanting to create video content, and then you come up, your first 10 video ideas should all be different. And then after your first 10 videos, look through your analytics, see which videos did the best, and then start trying to chase the ones that did better with those and try to focus more targeted SEO. I think it really just comes down to, you kind of have an idea of what you want to do when you go into YouTube, but it generally does not end up being what you do. And you kind of find something along the way that also works with your personality, because you do want to, I think there is that stage where you're just starting out. Your first 10 videos are going to be awful. Like, my first 10 videos are terrible. But it's just getting out there and starting and doing it, and then making content to see, okay, this works, this doesn't work. Oh, people really like this that I did. Let me keep following that thread. That's my suggestion to people. Just keep making content. Also stay within whatever you can do and not get burnt out at first. Because that's the biggest reason most people's YouTube channels don't succeed, is because they start making video content and then they just stop because it's hard to keep up with. So figure out whether, weekly video is great because people expect weekly videos. But, if you can only do one every other week, or every month. It's totally fine. I mean, when I started out, there was times where I only got to like one a month, and then eventually started picking up the pace with it. But some of it's that making sure your videos stay good quality. But make as much content as you can right out the gate. See what works. When you find something that works, view count wise, start following that, and then create similar content. And that usually leads to pretty good things. At least in my experience, from what I've seen from other people's channels. And then beyond that, at some point you have to learn how to make the content and be yourself in the content. Because that was, I think, the turning point for me with content was when I could figure out how I could merge the content I wanted to talk about and do, and also like kind of bring in a lot of my personality, the sarcastic, funny side to it. And I think when that happened, it started doing better. People, you start getting a lot more people enjoying your content versus just being like, oh, thanks for the information. This information was great. It's, oh, this video is so, yeah.
They don't even write a comment. It's just views and that's it. Not even likes. Yeah.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I mean, yes, if you're providing information, people go to people they enjoy watching to find information out. So sure, you might have the one-offs that'll like go to your video and like, oh, thanks for the information. I really needed this. And then you'll never see them on your channel again. But if you consistently, have content coming out and then you throw your personality into it, you're really selling yourself all the time because people like people. And if you're yourself on there, you'll attract, I think, more people than just trying to do like a bland version or try to be something that you're not. It's also way easier to, be yourself than try to act and be something that you're not, unless you're like a really good actor or something. But, so it's kind of my advice.
Yeah. So going into those video manuals, like why did you decide to do that kind of content? And for the people who don't know, like who helps you do those? Because I know a little bit behind the scenes, but like, do you write everything yourself? Do you know exactly what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like, how did those video managers work?
Okay, so getting started with them, I kind of got the idea from actually a guy that works with Linus Tech Tips, who's their video editor, who made this whole course on how to use hotkeys in Premiere Pro. I don't know if you've seen that, but he did. I think I did it better than him, but he like had a 3-hour video and then did it all with chapters inside of YouTube. And I'm like, oh, that's a fascinating idea. What if I just took a video manual, or like took the manual from the Blackmagic Pocket, Cinema Camera 4K, and then just converted it into a video, just reworded all the different things in it, and then just chaptered it so people could easily find like the section they're wanting by just going through the chapters and finding it. So a video manual, that's searchable. So that's kind of where that idea came from. I'm like, no one else had really done it either. So I thought, this might be a pretty good idea. But first I found, I did not want to write it. I write most of my other scripts on the channel, minus our ungraded camera news, which my wife writes for me. She's actually formerly used to be in news. So, and then before she got into marketing and all that kind of stuff. So she loves writing all that kind of stuff. But that I actually found someone on Fiverr to help me write it out. Or just get, cause it wasn't the most complicated thing to write in the world. It's just like taking the manual, rewording it in ways. And then I would go into like specific sections that I'm like, I need to expand upon this based on what, it's just not in the article. And then I would add stuff to it. So
would you say that this is the best content on the channel? And this could be a 2-part question. Like, in terms of views, obviously, and bringing in subscribers, I know that's a huge thing for the channel. So what do you think about that kind of content, like compared to like how well your channel has been doing? And I mean, is it the best content, or do you prefer other things?
I mean, it's definitely helped the channel, right? Like both of them, I've released 2 of them for the 4K and the 6K Pro. Both of them have great analytics because they're 2.5-hour videos. I mean, I think the average view is like 20 to 30 minutes or something, which isn't bad for a 2.5-hour video.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But I mean, like subscriber counts, like massive. The amount of like ad revenue, pretty good. It's just, but it's like, I can almost replicate somewhat what those videos do by making 2 or 3 videos, which they might not live as long as those because those are constantly getting views. Like there's those videos on my channel that are always up there, in the view per hours essentially. But it's good content. I think it's helpful for people who are wanting to go through the camera, but I think my better content is the stuff I've been doing here in the last 6 months, which is more of I've gotten really more into like storytelling essentially, or adding a lot more fun elements into, camera speculation or camera tech stuff where I talk about it. Just because I feel like we've kind of gone away from that as like camera community. It's just like everyone's just sitting. I mean, I'm sitting at a table typically in my videos, but we're all just like sitting at tables and like talking to it, technical, and there's like a ton of people doing that, and it's totally fine, and some people are great at it. I just for me, I'm incredibly sarcastic. I'm incredibly I just like to be funny, sarcastic, and do crazy things and tell stories too with it. So that's kind of what I try to do with all my different content. I think that's more where my favorite kind of videos are, and the better content I think is more where I do the storytelling, or I do the funny little bits or intros at the beginning of my video and stuff. That's more what I like. Or like I did that whole bit about the box camera cinema war, where every camera's, every camera company's making some kind of like box cinema camera, and then started out the whole video with just like a scene, like the war started with box cinema cameras or something. I just find that content to be fun because I don't know when like fun tutorial or like what do they call it? Like edutainment videos, I guess, had to be so boring. Where it's like, and I think sometimes too, when it comes to making content, telling stories to go along with what the point is helps to solidify like why you should care about this specific thing, more so than just like telling it to you and like, man, that's it. Because you get the occasional person who gets mad at me for titling my videos a certain way, or, oh, it's clickbait. Like, it's not really clickbait, but whatever. But you have to like I did, is the Pocket 6K Pro worth it in 2022? Kind of clickbaity. Everyone typically hates on it. But within that, I try to make fun of the fact that I'm making that video too. So it's like, look, I know. But then I also try to pack it full of information that people wouldn't get from other people who would make it. So it's like it actually helps to inform, and there's more story and fun stuff behind it. So trying to play into all the YouTube tropes, which I know some camera people hate, but I think it's fun. I don't understand why cameras and speculation, all that shouldn't be fun, or why we shouldn't do it. To me, it's fun, but some people like to be super serious, which totally fine. There's plenty of channels on YouTube that are super serious that they can go watch.
Right, yeah.
So that's kind of the thoughts behind, the video manuals. I know we were talking about that, but they're great. They're a pain to make. It's the most monotonous video editing ever.
So what's your favorite video that you've ever made for your channel?
Oh, that's hard.
Or the best video, and I don't mean in an analytics sense.
Yeah. I really liked the pacing I did for the secret feature within the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera one I did, which was about the horizon meter and how you might be able to add a feature into it that could actually could record gyroscopic data that you could stabilize your footage and post. That one was fun. I really liked the pacing of that with the storytelling, the way I filmed it, and then just the snappiness of it. That's one of my favorite videos because of that. I'm trying to think what other videos I really like. That one was fun. The one where I put myself in a Cryochamber essentially was pretty fun. That was
insane.
That didn't turn out fully how I wanted it to, but I mean, it was fun.
I mean, I've never seen someone build like a small swimming pool just for a bit in a video. Like that's pretty intense. Rent
scuba equipment and Oh, that water was, it was in December in the mountains in North Carolina. And I'm pretty sure it like snowed the other day before. So the water was probably like in the 60s, 70s. I mean, I had a wetsuit on, but it's still, I had to like Yeah, it was fun. And I was underwater for probably like 10, 15 minutes while we were filming. So it was
Wow.
it was fun. That one was so I just like going crazy with some of that kind of stuff, or even with more recently with our Ungraded Camera News show, which is really just aimed at like no one's really talking about all the different things like in one place from different things that are happening in the industry for cameras. I'm like, oh, it'd be fun just to do a weekly show. But, trying to be fun or do funny bits at the beginning of that just makes it more fun. Like, yeah. So people seem to, it's either side. People really enjoy it or they like find me ridiculous and completely absurd and cringy. So, whichever.
Why not all of those things? Why not all of those things?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
No. And I get it. Everyone has their own kind of content, and it's the content I like making, and it seems like people like it enough to stick around. So I'm gonna keep making it until people tell me to go away.
Yeah. With all those bits and things like that, I know other channels sometimes think of it, do this kind of thing, but like, is there any like lore around those kind of things, or is this all like completely like random and like per video is just like, oh, I'm just gonna do this time, or is it, or in your head is there anything like a larger, big, more encompassing thing around the whole channel? Because I remember you were going down the anime camera route at one point.
Yes.
Or camera anime route at one point, and that's kind of stopped, and then you did the 3D like box camera thing, and you've done the scuba thing, and then you've also done the clones. So like, is any of this related? Like, what's your thought process around that part?
Some of the stuff I just have like, oh, that'd be a funny idea, I should do that. So some of it definitely is completely random, and some of it I think of like literally the day I'm filming something and I just like run with it and try it. And then there's some videos that definitely I have mostly because of like people have said something on like Discord or comments, and I'm like, ooh, I should keep continuing this like thread. I think the one thing that really does have the lore to it is like the masked figure with the glowing mask that I always have around that always shows up when like like when Smallrig sent me a cage to put together, do a sponsored video for them, and showed up trying to like force me to make the the thing, coming trying to freak me out or whatever. And then there was also there for the Cryochamber video. So I always try to bring that out when I'm doing like more clickbaity kind of videos where it's things I just want to make fun of the fact I'm doing it, and then like try to play with the fact.
Who is the mask though? Like, is it like
I don't know,
evil version of you, or like
is it me? Well,
how can you describe the mask?
I don't know. That's what I keep playing around with the different things I'm sure I will wrap it up at some point, but I'm trying to keep that like, who is it? Because, in one video I'm wearing the mask when we were breaking into Blackmagic's facility, and then I reveal it's me, but then, is it me because or am I just a clone in the videos? Or just, someone just made to like pump out YouTube videos. I have another video coming out here soon that I've been working on where it's this AI video editor that can like cut clips and also can do deepfake voice work. So I use my voice for it, and I kind of play more into that. So that's coming out soon. But yeah, I definitely probably will build more into the lore at some point with it. The anime camera one, incredibly fun to make. Took so long. And I had to, pay people to do voice acting and stuff with it. And I animated it all in Adobe Premiere, which is
like, how? That is like crazy. You wouldn't think that Premiere is like an anime. Like, if you said After Effects, I'd be like, okay, I understand it. But like that, you did it in Premiere is like incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I use Adobe Character Animator for the faces, and that's it. But essentially, other than that, it was all Adobe Premiere, which is, I mean, it didn't take too long to make. It's just trying to like render it, and then you have to render little pieces of it because Adobe doesn't, love the fact of how much graphics content's in it. But yeah, it was fun. I might return to that at some point. That one just took so long to make, and now that I've started creating so much more content, I really try to make sure that like all my videos are high quality. Like you're getting the same experience every video, and you don't really feel like, oh, John just didn't feel like he was up to editing this week, or just trying to rush this one out.
Well, there are some spelling mistakes, so
Yeah, that's why my wife is working with me now.
Nice. What would you say is either your worst video on your channel or one that you thought was going to do really well and you're like, this is the best idea ever, and then you get it out there and it just underperforms, either complete negativity in the comments or whatever? Like, what video is that?
I'm trying to think of one that's just like bombed. I think there's ones, it's usually the ones where I try to like go outside the box of kind of like the content I've made, where it's like, I did this one for Christmas where it was like, and I think this one still did pretty well comparatively, but I did like this bit on like what video, what to get your photographer, videographer, significant other for Christmas kind of thing. And it's just like all bits about like people giving you like the wrong company t-shirt or like the rival company's t-shirt or, another camera coffee mug, which seems to, everyone loves to get, camera people.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff, which I think sometimes I always like, oh, this is such a great concept. This is a great idea, but it doesn't fit what YouTube knows my content to be, and no one's searching for it, and I'm not large enough yet to be able to pull off that content for enough people to see it to get trending with it. So those kind of things sometimes can be a little disappointing because I do put a lot of like creative effort into like the funny stories or coming up with funny jokes for that, and I think they're good, but at the same time it's like I know I'm like it's just not going to get seen, mostly because titles don't work too well when you try to go away from like a specific concrete thing. Or so that's kind of, I would say that. And then if I go back to some of my earlier videos, there's some videos I'm like, oof, I think I was making some videos on how to do things in Adobe Premiere, which were fine, but I was just like, it was never going to go anywhere. And it's funny always to kind of look back and see all the content I was trying to make before. And it's like, and now I can kind of see why it didn't work and why the content I went after with Blackmagic that I kind of just fell into works. I think you really always have to find that video when you're making a new channel and you're trying to like a new niche or whatever, and you make all these different videos, and then if there's one that's like working really well and you're ranking pretty well and you're getting a lot of views and a lot of clicks, just keep pulling the thread of whatever that is, making similar content and growing it from there. That's typically the best route to go. And that's kind of what I've done with all the Blackmagic stuff, because I made like probably one of the easiest videos I've made, which was how to build a rig out for the Pocket 4K, my run and gun rig or whatever video I made, which was okay. But that video did like really well. It was like one of my first top videos. Now it's like not even close to my top videos, but it was one of those videos that started getting a lot of view counts without me having to push it and stuff.
Yeah, because I think you're definitely proud of your, like, it's like a travel competition video that you did with a couple of friends. You had two teams doing two routes, and it's incredibly well made. It's like it's like pretty much TV quality. You could definitely imagine that kind of content being on a TV show. Yeah. But I know that you changed the title to like most underrated travel thing. Like, yeah. Well, I was trying to get more views, and that must have taken so much time and effort. And I guess to you that has underperformed. Right. Oh, yeah. To be honest, I forget some of those are on my channel at some point because I do those here and there. And I probably will do more of that content as I go along. But because I do like to show on my channel like that I actually can do the stuff I'm talking about on it and make it into a big, like you said, like a TV show. Like, look, I actually use these cameras and can tell stories and do documentaries with them. But yeah, those kind of like, again, that kind of goes back to the thing when you have a smaller following. Even if it's great content, it's really hard. Ahead of its time. Yeah. And you gotta, as hard as it is for me, because I'm very much like a futuristic thinker and I think big, I have to bring myself back in sometimes. Like, all right, like I'm not there yet. This is a great idea, but we gotta like build towards it. So, right. And then, I've done a few more since that, the travel videos. Those were great. It was disappointing the amount of views I got on them. It was still a great experience putting them together. And honestly, every time I've done one of those, I feel like I've gotten better as a video editor and piecing together stories. I did the one with scuba diving, where I did a documentary about like me learning how to scuba dive and overcoming my fear of open water, which
mostly worked. I still have some stuff with that, but that one was fun to film. That one did better. And then my Alaska one I did last year where we drove up, the Dalton Highway to the freaking middle of nowhere up, almost at the North Pole, essentially, Arctic Ocean. I felt like that one did pretty well. That one, you kind of see the growth per each one from the road trip to the scuba diving one to that one, where I think the road trip ones were only like, a few hundred views. And then the Alaska one was like at like a 2,000 to 3,000 views at this point. So, yeah, it's hard because I really love that kind of content. I really love watching people like Yes Theory or some of these other travel channels and how they do it and how it's more storytelling, less just some videographer. Well, while it's great sometimes to see really cool footage, it's just you get bored of just seeing really nice footage if there's no story or meaning behind it. So that's why I kind of like doing that. But again, there's a lot of people on YouTube that do that in a different way.
My only criticism about that series is it wasn't long enough for me.
Yeah.
Like, I could have easily if I wanted like 30-minute episodes, I think you could or at least 25-minute, with and then 5 minute for ad break or whatever. So, and then I'm thinking like I think you keep all your footage, right? Or you have? Yeah. So do you still have all those files?
Oh yeah, I use them all the time.
To be honest, I think you should, if you wanted to spend the time doing it, re-edit them into a longer form thing and pitch it to any kind of small network or something like, hey, I've got this 6-episode series. Bunch of guys traveling across America, it could be cool. Or even just upload it again back to the channel, because there's going to be so many of your new subscribers who haven't seen that content and probably will never go through the back catalog to look at it. And you never know, there might be merit in sitting down some people and doing some of those interviews where you're still, I'm assuming all those are still your friends and they're all still alive. Yeah, so you could sit them down and do like a little interview thing and do the whole classic day 3 was really tough, but we had no idea what was going to come next, that kind of stuff. And then that could help with the storytelling, because I thought you could have done way longer episodes. I was really invested in it. I was like, I want to know more. I want to see more talking in the car. They kind of some of the stuff was a little bit too short, but I think if you guys haven't seen it, go show it some love. It's up here. Go see it because or don't, because hopefully John's going to re-edit them and make long episodes.
See, I think it started as longer and then I cut it down just because I felt like it dragged. But I think it's because the problem with the thing was I don't think I'd ever attempted something quite that large before. Because it was very, it's 2 teams with 7 different days of footage from all over the country in the United States. And it was trying to tell stories that I was part of one story, but I had no idea what, happened on the other side. So I was trying to balance those. And I had originally thought this was going to be a 1-part video within 20 minutes. And that's how long I was going to try to make it. Which was very naive.
That would have been super quick. It would be a minute in each location.
I know. And then I started realizing as I was editing, I'm like, I just don't have enough time to do it. So, that's kind of how it just ended up being, because I needed to finish it up and move on to other stuff. But yeah, going back, I would definitely make those into more days. I've also learned some other things from doing some of my other documentaries. Like you said, doing the sit-down interviews. Like we did one at the Alaska video, every location we had a sit down interview talking about our day, recounting different things, which really helps to tell the story a bit more, along with voiceover, and then also your vlog content. So I'm probably gonna do another one of those road trip things at some point, because it gives me so much good B-roll content. And stuff I'm still using on my channel all the time. One of the things I'm always wanting, because I make so many videos, 2-3 videos a week, I need as much B-roll as I can of me filming, other people filming, me using cameras in cool locations and all this stuff, so I can just have all the access to it all. So I like taking trips like that. But if I'm gonna take a trip like that, why not also make it into some kind of content as well? So probably we'll try to do another road trip video. Road trip competition video. I know everyone in that would love to do it again. So, because it is one of those just weird kind of things where I think a lot of my friends that I have to almost kind of be on my level of craziness, because I like to travel fairly insane, to just like crazy degrees, like, you know, driving from Miami to Seattle, which is about 5,000 miles. Yeah. And we did that.
Okay.
We did that. I drove it in 6 days.
Damn.
And so did the other team. The other team, I mean, we were driving like the first team, their first day, they drove from Miami to St. Louis, which is like a 20 hour drive. So we started in the morning. They didn't get to the hotel until like, I don't know, like 3, 4 in the morning.
Wow.
So it's just like long days like that, but also trying to figure out like how, you know, to get time with these locations too, so you can film and have experiences and stuff. So, yeah, I might do it again. It'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun.
This is an assumption, but I saw like one little piece of work that you did professionally, and it kind of followed a similar kind of vibe to that. I think you were also on camera, or you were a character within the production where you guys were traveling somewhere, and then you would go into this factory and blah, blah, but you were kind of a character in this movie. So like, did you get that job because of that kind of content that you'd made on YouTube, or had you already made that content professionally and that's why that fed into YouTube? Like, and have you ever been offered professional jobs from people who have seen your YouTube and said, you know, I want something like that?
So oddly enough, that on Road Tripping with Steve, what you're talking about, I actually filmed that back like a month or two before I did the road trip. So we had that planned, but we'd filmed that and had decided to, I don't know, I think I probably got a lot of good inspiration about how to do some of that and edit it. And that one was a crazy thing because I had to film that and then I edited all 6 episodes in like a month because it was rushed schedule. So, which was, I mean, you know, which is fine. Did not sleep for like a month, but it was... But yeah, some of the inspiration.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some other stuff. I did some other YouTube content and some other travel stuff beforehand. Before I did Frame Voyager content with a friend of mine, and it was kind of similar like that vlog style travel documentary kind of thing, and that's kind of what I went for with them. That actual show actually did help me get pretty in with them because it was so out of the box of what a production company would do. Because, you know, you just get a production company, they just make the same thing like for every person. It's like there's not much creative kind of thing to it. So I just kind of came up with that whole concept of with the road trip and kind of the whole idea of like the interaction between like the person on camera and the crew as he's like going along and exploring all these different manufacturing kind of places. So yeah, that's kind of some of the inspiration came for even like the road trip out west, or I mean the from Miami to Seattle. And but as far as have I gotten work from YouTube? Yes and no. So some of my clients are just
How can it be yes and no? It's either yes, you either did get a job or you didn't get a job. Like what does that mean?
Well, I guess like with some of my clients, I didn't get work because of my YouTube stuff at first, but then I've gotten more work on top of that because of my YouTube content, because it's grown over time, if that makes sense. So like I started with them before all the YouTube stuff, but then I've added more stuff because of the YouTube. So yes, but yeah, I've actually had a lot of, consulting. I get some consulting jobs and stuff on YouTube now where people bring me in and ask me about stuff or how to film this or how to put together this or, making some course videos for some companies and stuff, consulting companies that do stuff, and just talking about YouTube, film stuff, you know, on a basic level. Like if your company's wanting to get into it, do this first, here's some steps and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's actually resulted in some decent, work opportunities, job opportunities, and things that I actually do enjoy doing a lot. And it's a lot easier for me to pitch YouTube series to people or YouTube videos to clients when it's like, look at my channel. Like, I know what I'm doing. For the you know, I mean, I'm only at like.
Do you need someone to wear a mask?
Yeah.
And scare people, break into some government facility stuff. Conspiracy theories.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny when I work with some companies and it's like, yeah, I have more subscribers on YouTube than you guys do. So
Sick burn.
Yeah, so, but I'm like, but let me help you, because I know how to like, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not fully there yet where I can fully sell it because, I'm 8,000 subscribers on YouTube, which isn't terrible, but definitely want to be more. I definitely think I get a ton of my analytics. I punch way above my weight class as far as subscribers for view count with my views because I'm constantly exceeding, above what my subscriber count is, or pretty far above 50% on most of my videos. Or I mean, okay, like half of my videos. But you know what I mean. So I think as it grows and you just have a bigger number, that numbers sell. So it's just waiting to get to that, over 10,000, over 25,000. You get to 100,000. I feel like you can pretty much sell.
You're gonna get that 12K. You're gonna have that 12K at that point. So.
Oh yeah, everything
Blackmagic will be eating out of your hands. Well, to be honest, you're probably not that far off because there's some people that I follow who do more of the broadcast side, or live streaming side, and they're like 25 and 17 or something, and they're getting products from Blackmagic to review. So you're not that far off, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it is. It's just like there's those benchmark metrics, that every company's looking for, and they probably won't consider you until you hit them. Which is, I get it. I get it. You need that certain following and all that kind of stuff. But even if sometimes subscribers are a little bit vanity metrics, the vanity metrics do help, and they also do help bring other people into your channel because the more subscribers you have, the more people kind of trust your content, and the more people start subscribing to you. So it's just a weird, trying to just put out as much quality content as you can so you have a library. So, whenever you do get big enough, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna have like 5 videos and it's, I have nothing else, because then people don't really watch your content anymore because you don't have enough content.
So professional side, this is a weird question, but what's your favorite fast food?
Favorite fast food?
Yeah. If you're gonna go for any fast food, like any particular brand you'd go to?
I'm trying to think what I'd like fast food wise. I know my wife loves Chick-fil-A, so I end up eating there.
Oh, well, that is very interesting because you used to work for Chick-fil-A, did you know?
Yes, I did work for Yeah, I
that was the whole setup for that question, was trying to get you to say Chick-fil-A. So you worked at Chick-fil-A for at least a couple years, I see.
Yeah.
This is public information.
Oh, you're looking at my LinkedIn?
I did look at your LinkedIn, yeah. And then you did some something else, and then there was some Republican Party thing, and then you worked for Marco Rubio. Is that his name?
Yeah, Marco Rubio. He was he ran for president in 2015, 2016. So I was in politics at first.
Was it video related stuff, or was it marketing stuff?
Marketing, technical stuff. Because I'm a tech nerd too, so I would I'd like Excel sheets and coding and Excel sheets and all that kind of fun stuff.
And then after that, some things I don't actually know what they are, but some companies, and then it just says Frame Voyager for 5 years.
Yep.
So that's obviously your own business and stuff, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. My question is when you started that, how long into that kind of this, A4 Media, the Frame Voyager kind of time, was it until you were self-sufficient? Or was that instant? Is that why you started your own company in that way? Were you instantly already get the clients and stuff, or did you still have to kind of work at it?
Yeah, so I kind of worked at it a little bit. So I technically immediately, as soon as I started the company, probably a few months after that, was self-sufficient with some of it.
Wow.
But some of that's also because of the work I'd done prior. But I actually got fired from somewhere that hired me to be their comms director or communication director. It was not a good fit personality-wise. It was not a good fit because in the interview process, they'd asked if I write anything. I'm like, no, I'm not a writer. But you know, I could do camera stuff. I can do like all the other stuff. And then I got there and they was trying to like make me write articles and do AP formatting and all that kind of stuff. And that is not my forte. And then, you know, just creative differences. And then like I literally walked in one day and like knew something was up. I usually, when I would work, especially because this was also like, it was like a policy job. So it was like, we were just reporting on and checking in on like different things happening in like local and state government stuff. I'm typically, whenever I've worked, when I did work in politics, you're always kind of like there with one foot out the door, trying to like make sure you have backup options because people get just let go and fired. But yeah, so I already working on stuff, you know, before I got fired or let go, or I don't think they called it firing, but I did get fired. So I showed up at the office the one day, and then they brought in some outside HR person. Like the main person who hired me wasn't even there, and brought me into this office, handed me this letter, and he's like, oh, we're gonna release you. You just need to sign the letter and whatever. And then, you know, then I get back, and then like they'd already packed up everything in a box from my desk. No,
like in an actual cover box. Like,
I mean, they were like
typical movie style things. Like in your desk, and you.
They were treating me with like kid gloves. Like I was gonna like just flip a switch and just like freak out. And I'm just like, whatever. I was already thinking about leaving anyways. Like it's not. I mean, it was weird. So yeah, literally that. If you watch the video of me on my YouTube channel, that's currently my trailer video. Don't know how much longer it'll be in my trailer video, but that
is this when you're in a suit and you're running out ripping the tie off?
With the tie with the box. That shot I got actually right outside the office building I worked at and got fired at. So I actually went back to the actual place and filmed it there.
What? You're crazy.
Yeah. So
what? What is that? What? How? Why? What? So many questions. What?
I don't know, because I thought it would be funny to do it in the same location.
Wow.
So yeah, I can't remember if they worked there still, but I didn't really care. It was a good like, I think it was a good like 2 years after that I had filmed it. Like when we went to Frame Voyager, because I did A4 Media stuff for a couple of years. But yeah, so I went back there and filmed it because it was just like a funny, you know, memory. Because I remember walking out of it and it's like, you kind of have that sinking feeling like, wow, I've never been fired before, but you kind of have that like, I'm like, oh, I finally like feel this weight lifted off of me. And like, I just didn't really want to be there much anyways. At that point, there was just personalities did not mix well, and people just, yeah, there were a lot going on there. But that letter that they handed me in the meeting, I actually still have that letter. And it's in my office, in my editing office, framed, because it's funny.
I was just going to say, is it framed?
Oh, it's framed. I have it framed, which seems pretty cliche, but I thought it was hilarious because they had listed off the different reasons I got fired, which was for like inability to follow orders or something like that.
Wow.
And which was, I mean, I like to push back on stuff, but and then grammatical errors and something like that. The funny thing was there was like multiple typos and other stuff within the letter itself that they gave me, explaining to me that they were letting me go. Part of the reason they were letting me go is because of typos and other stuff, and they had like multiple typos in it. So I think it's yeah. So that's why I kept it. I'm like, oh, that's funny, and I'm like, that's the day that I got out and decided, yeah, I'm done working for people. So, and then at that point, I already had some other contracts and stuff while I was working there to do other things, and then I just went and talked to different contacts I had. And I think that's really what helped me start my business was the fact that I had all these contacts in politics, in the government, on all over, and was able to get some jobs and stuff from that early on to be able to kind of like be self-sufficient. So, I mean, it was crazy early on, right? I mean, it always is when you're trying to start a business and all that, and just like working all hours of the day, trying to like scrap for money and trying to figure out like, what exactly am I doing? What's the purpose of the company? What all can we offer? And then offering way too much, all this stuff like graphic design, website building, marketing, SEO development, video. It was just like, it was, you just fall into that trap early on. Like, oh, just trying to we're going to be marketing company for all. It's like me and one other guy. And it just, yeah. So, and then it, eventually evolved into like, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do video. I'm getting way better, video contracts way better. And that's kind of what I went after and got into some of the corporate stuff, had some good opportunities where, people I knew people, and I just got connected with them into some really good opportunities. So, there's a bit of luck to it. There's a bit of like really working the angles of like, who knows who. And then when you get those opportunities, making the most of those opportunities and stuff. And I feel like being in politics, being in a presidential campaign and all that stuff really got me around. I've never really been afraid of like celebrities or, like get nervous, or I just always see them as like normal people. Like I don't really like whatever. But like being in that high stress environment with all these like these people with all these different personalities really helped for when I'm working with higher end corporate clients and stuff, because you just know how to like, how to work a room with, from politics. Not saying I'm like working rooms with clients, but like you just know, how to act, how to be professional, because you're like the highest professional stuff in like presidential campaigns. And I think some of that side helps a lot. Because I always say, you can be, it's almost the same thing as with musicians. You could be the best musician in the world, but if you don't know how to market yourself and you don't know how to like work with people, you're never going anywhere. And it's the same thing with video stuff. You could be the best videographer that no one's ever, heard of. But if you don't know how to market yourself and you don't know how to work with clients and like that human side of it and how to, because it's all about relationships half the time. People choose to work with you and hire you because they like you. I mean, granted, you have to do good work, right? Like it can't just be like, oh, this work's awful. But, if you're nice and you're fun with people, they like to have you back. Talent likes to have you back. So that's always my big thing is have fun on sets, even if you're stressed out. Don't let the client or the talent know that you're incredibly stressed out. Make it fun, make it a light experience, or else, again, you get bad performances on camera anyways. But I feel like I went to another tangent there. Sorry.
No, that's really good advice, I think, for people who need, to hear it, if they're just starting out or whatever, or maybe they've been in the business for a while and they're thinking, why am I not getting the work? Or, my reel's really good, but why am I not getting those callbacks from the same clients? Or, I think a lot of it is word of mouth, right? And a little bit like you do some good work for someone. If they have a good experience, then they may recommend you to someone else. Or, if they're proud to show off that product, then another company might be like, oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And, and find you somehow through that.
And to also recognize the environment you're walking into as well. It's like if you're walking into a corporate environment, those people don't want you to be another corporate person that they deal with all the time, because they're all those people. You see like a lot of those production companies with just like all the matching polos and the and they're trying to like match that corporate kind of feel. And it's like you're kind of boring to work with, and no one really like you're the fun creative person coming in to have a good time. Like play that end up, like dress a little bit, dress professionally, but dress more creative. Come in there representing like what actually you do, because people like it when you're fun and you're not just like the same person that they work with day in and day out. So that's kind of my thing. Just I don't understand why like some video people try to turn it into like such like a boring corporate thing. Like, did you get into making videos because you wanted to be in a corporate environment too? Because I didn't. I wanted to get out of a corporate environment, so I don't want to like reinvent it in my own thing and then be stuck in it, my own corporate company again. So
I think this is definitely a video that you haven't made for your own channel. Well, at least not yet. Maybe you will, but
no,
I don't want to get too personal.
Yeah.
Because people don't like discussing money. But would you say that you're happy with the money that you make from your professional work?
Oh yeah. It allows me to.
Okay, well, it's that much. Well, okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That answer is like, yeah.
I mean, it's nice when you run, have your own business and do stuff. And sure, there's like times that are tough and all that, but when you kind of like get going, and figure it out, it's great. Now there's always that worry about like clients and like, you never have a sure income, because it's always just like trying to work on contracts, working on contracts, hoping that these projects are going to come, and then some fall through, some don't. But yeah, at the end of the day, I still love it way more than working at any company on a 9-to-5 job. So yeah.
Can I ask what rough figure, like what the biggest contract you've ever got was?
Trying to think like cumulative, because I've gotten some stuff for like year contracts, right? Like, so it could make a bunch of videos and it could be like some 6-figure kind of contracts here and there over the course of the year. So yeah, around that.
So you're not gonna quit that to do YouTube full time anytime soon, I'm guessing. You're always gonna keep that kind of work, because I guess that's your like, you know, the breadwinning kind of job, right? Compared to YouTube. But would you think there would ever be a point where you would be like, you know what, I've made enough videos for the people that I know and I'm ready to go 100% into the YouTube stuff, or at least like side YouTube hustles like selling LUTs or courses and stuff like that? Or do you think you're always gonna do a side of professional? Look at me, like I'm gatekeeping professional work.
Professional,
like YouTube is a professional in a way. Yeah.
I mean, definitely, I would love to do that. I'm gonna keep both sides. So like, I think even if the YouTube channel did well enough where it's like I'll just put most of my focus on that. I've always kind of wanted to get more into a director role with clients where I can kind of just come on shoots and have other people film. And like I can kind of, because that's to me where I'm much better at is the concept and trying to tell a story and like getting everything and the editing process. Like I can film fine, right? But I know plenty of other videographers, cinematographers that are way better than I am with stuff and just have the eye for it. So I don't try to fool myself in some of that saying like, oh, I'm the best and I can't let anyone else do it. I'm more about like trying to gather people around me who are really good at what they're doing, who can help me achieve what I'm trying to achieve. And I mean, that's what all this is just a big collaborative effort. But yeah, I mean, I could see it someday. The YouTube side, if it goes the way I need it to, and I market it correct, and it's more than just YouTube that I'm trying to achieve with all of the stuff. Because I would love to at some point, you know, be able to go talk in conferences or do some of that stuff, or be like kind of build myself into a thought leader, I guess, in the industry. Kind of, because to me, I think that's where a lot of the benefit is, because A, you know, that gets you can get more contracts out of that, and B, you can like, I mean, it's just a great position to be in because you can make money off of stuff that's not even like contract work, like through YouTube, or like you said, through selling stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be the YouTuber that wants to sell like all the LUTs and stuff, but I definitely
I reckon you could easily do it. You could cobble together some LUTs and be like the Frame Voyager travel LUTs or whatever, or like, you know, do the LUTs for each camera.
That's true.
Like, to match the cameras together, because there are differences between a 4K and a 6K. Like there is slight sensor differences there. So
true.
There's that, and then there's the Ursa, which is like, you know.
Yeah, I have to get my colorist friends to help me with that one.
Give him like 20%, you know.
Yeah, I could do that. I know. I'm trying to develop like some sound effects packs with diegetic audio. Yeah, my brother. Which not everyone knows. So.
Yeah. I mean, now they do.
Yeah, now they do. I would say if people can't figure it out, then.
And he was also the voiceover for the box camera thing, right?
Yeah. No, he is. Yeah. So we're working on some of that kind of stuff. I would love to at some point, you know, like how Linus Tech Tips has all their like fun camera gear stuff. I would love to have more Frame Voyager stuff specifically for like run and gun people. But you know, again, that's like years out where I can develop products that help with travel, help with, you know, gear rigs and stuff in like a tight environments. And so yeah, I mean, that's the goal long term. I love working with my clients. Love my clients. But yeah, I mean, eventually it'd be great to have like YouTube as like a big part of my business, and it's really turning into one now. As it like
you invest heavily into YouTube, like compared to a lot of other people. Like you've got so many ongoing projects. 'Cause I remember even when we first started talking, you had at least like, I'm in the process of making like 8 videos, and I was like, how are you making 8 videos at the same time, like concurrently? And then you got these writers writing or help writing these mammoth like video manuals and stuff. And now you have your wife helping you with the with the blog, like news website, which people should go check. There'll be a link in the description for that. You know, like you got so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like compared to the people who are like, oh, I'm gonna make a video today. They're kind of very casual, kind of like this is definitely.
Mine's very.
Feel from you're very focused.
Yeah, I'm very intentional about making video content. It's all planned. I mean, I'm running it like I would stuff for clients, right? Like you're planning everything out, making sure you're on production schedule. It's kind of hard to stay on schedule because it's like, 2 to 3 videos a week. And we're trying, we just started running 2 videos this year, 2 videos a week this year, because it just like, it, helps the analytics the more you post. As long as you have good content. That's my big thing is, I have to keep if my content quality cannot stay high as I've always had it, I'm going to bring down the amount of videos I'm doing until I can get to that point where I can create it. So I know we're trying to add in more video content on Wednesdays, doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday content, and trying to spread it. Yeah. Trying to spread it out. Monday's my typical like crazy, sarcastic speculation video, fun stuff that I like to do. And then Wednesday, I'm trying to bring a little bit more technical back into it, like quicker technical videos that people love on my channel, which is great. I don't love making just technical content, though. So I'm trying to make that fun. And then our Fridays, of course, are ungraded camera news. So you're right. There's a lot. And then there's a lot of other platforms and stuff we're trying to figure out how to get into, and newsletters and TikTok and...
Oh, TikTok is...
Yeah, and everything. I mean, that's the hard thing is like when, as big as I want to be, and I know I'm not like fully there yet, me, I'd rather have everything set up for when I'm there than trying to be scrambling to get, as soon as like if it does blow up, scrambling to try to put everything together. Now I'll have everything in place to handle it as I grow. And even more so than, I have, but, like the camera news site or the camera blog thing. I think it's incredibly valuable to have that stuff because there's some out there. I mean, there's a handful of really good camera blogs and news sites out there, but there's not like it's not, like normal news content. So, and kind of the goal with that in the future would be to have, especially with the blog side, having more people write content for the website than just me and my wife. And, it's like someone has a video that's really cool. Great. Come write an article about it. We'll vet it. We'll throw it on there. We'll put your video on there. And then that's blog content. So it's more than just, again, Frame Voyager is supposed to be more than just me. Like can be part of the face of it, but it's going to be a broader community, and the broader the community and the more people we have in different fields and stuff, the better the content's going to be because it's not just coming from me because, you could hear me talk about the kind of content I do, and I could talk about how to film a wedding video, but you're not really going to trust the fact that well, does he make wedding videos or know how to use this stuff? And I don't want to, I'm trying not to be the kind of YouTuber that tries to push into stuff I don't know too much about without having other people there that know enough about it to push back on things that I'm saying while, we're talking or discussing. Trying to be kind of like that person that brings kind of like a lot of people together, I guess, if that makes sense.
How much are you kind of investing into YouTube then? Because this is so much stuff going on, and we mentioned before that you were paying voice actors to do the anime camera thing, and then you obviously got your wife as long as maybe she works for free. I don't know, maybe
yeah.
But like you're spending a lot of money back into something where I'm sure your channel you get the ad revenue, but I know at certain sizes it's definitely not profitable, or it's not like in the black. Are you spending more on YouTube than you're getting out of it at the moment, or have you already reached like a break-even point? And why are you spending so much? Like, would you advise spending this much money on YouTube for like anybody, or is it just because you had this master plan and you've already kind of done this? Like you said, it's like you're running a business for a client, like a project for a client. So like, would you advise doing what you're doing?
I feel like earlier on I was putting more money into, I mean, sure, there's like skits. I'm like, I'm just going to put some money into this. And like with the Cryochamber thing I did, which is funny. My wife looked at that and she's like, you took all day for that, like 35 seconds of footage to get in that thing. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it seemed like a cool idea.
How much did that cost to build that, whatever that?
like I don't know, like $300-$400, something like that.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. But I got some other behind the scenes footage of it that I'm planning to release at some point. So, I mean, but I don't do that all the time. I just like that to me was like it's the first video of the year I'm doing. So I wanted to kind of start out with something fun. So it just depends on the video. Typically I try to keep it on the lower side as far as it, but I mean like, yeah, I'll spend money on stuff. It's becoming a little bit easier as I'm, getting access to some stuff, like whether it's like companies, like Smallrig sending me a light to review or stuff like that. I don't have to go and like rent stuff to try it out, or know, I
mean maybe with the GH6 one, but
actually no,
exclusive.
Well, I've worked out some stuff with a camera rental company.
Oh, perfect. That's great.
So they're doing some stuff and they're giving me some credits and stuff towards renting gear so I can get stuff for free. So I'm like, yes. So
awesome.
I will be. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just trying to like leverage some of that now that it's like, now that my channel's grown enough and I have a bunch of like that affiliate links and stuff and a bunch of like, here's what here's the amount of link, stuff people bought from my affiliate links last year. And I can kind of use that to my advantage a little bit more than I used to be able to. But I heavily invest in it. I would not recommend it for people. And also, it's one of those things you need to be able to, for me, I run a video production company, so technically I can write most of this off as like tax write-offs because it's marketing for a business. And I actually do like make money off of the videos now. So it's just everything I pay for is just like, oh, it's a tax write-off, which I need as many tax write-offs as I can get half the time. So there's some of that. So it's just like, you don't have to go as crazy as I do. I just tend to like to invest in it because I'm trying to reach that goal. Like you said, I have a very far-reaching goal. I know what I'm trying to do. I'm not just like making videos to make videos, as some people do, which is totally fine if you do. But if you're just doing that and you don't really have that clear goal in mind, I wouldn't spend the money I'm spending on stuff.
Right. Yeah, I think with my Amazon, I get like $50 to $70 like gift card every month or every 2 months, which is not bad considering I don't get that many like views and whatever or click throughs. But Amazon is pretty good. I'm sure yours is a lot higher than mine. Yeah, do you because I don't know if people actually realize that like with Amazon we get paid in gift cards, so you have to just kind of spend it on I do at least. Do you not get gift card?
No, they.
Oh, interesting. This is some secret thing I don't know about. I get paid like an Amazon gift card, so I just end up spending it back into like on more equipment and stuff.
No, mine gets directly deposited.
Wow.
I wonder if because I know
how to do that. You should make a video about how to do that. This might be secret knowledge because I've always historically got gift cards from Amazon. So
that's interesting. I think you can. Like I think I can too, but I think there's a setting where you can say no. I'd rather get it as this. So.
Wow.
Yeah, typically I'll it just gets direct deposited, which is not
How many 4Ks, Blackmagic 4Ks have been bought from your links? Roughly, would you say?
Probably only like a couple.
A couple? Come on. It's got to be like I would guess in the thousands, surely.
I wish. I think more I sell.
Or unless these are more people that have already got their camera and now they're going to learn about how to use it.
That's more what
I think I might have sold at least one either 4K or 6K through an Amazon link. I was very surprised. I was like, why is it so high this month? And then I saw like someone bought a camera. So I was like, thank you to whoever that was.
Actually, let me see, because I actually have the Excel spreadsheet right here because I sent it to a company here recently. Let me see what I think most of the stuff I usually sell is hard drives and Smallrig cages. Constantly, and that and VMAT batteries and cables so it's like all the little cables and all the little things that end up usually getting sold the most, more so than the big. But I've had some people buy like Sigma lenses off of links that I've had, or some of that other kind of stuff. But it's it's here or there. It just depends on like my I guess whatever people are buying. But it's been good. I've had like, I think last year I had like 10,000 link clicks on all my content, which isn't terrible. And like 819 things bought from Amazon off of my account.
What, like a month or like within the whole year?
That was just within the whole year. So it's not.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say a month you'll be like netting some crazy money.
Oh yeah. No, if I could get that per month, that'd be great. But it's always weird with the affiliate links because the affiliate link stuff always feels so up and down. Like, cause you can have really good months and then all of a sudden there's like nothing. And then you have really good months and then there's nothing. So, but I do find the more technical content I do, the more the affiliate links typically go up. But then again, then more my ad revenue goes up more that I do the more fun kind of videos on YouTube. So it's just like that balance of like, which one do I need to go after? You know,
with everything that you've been doing so far, like, what direction? We kind of already touched on this a little bit, but like, let's say in the next 2 years, if we revisited and we did another interview in 2 years' time,
yeah,
is there a specific number of subscribers that you want, or is it like view count, which is more important to you at that point? And what kind of content do you think you'll be going to be making? Like, where will John Owens be in 2 years?
2 years. I'd hope in 2 years I'm pretty close to 100,000 subscribers. With like the goals of stuff. Like if the typical multiplying factor of how you start off growing and then like your subscriber stuff starts going up a little bit faster over time. Feel like I should be pretty close to 100,000 subscribers. Not that the subscriber count matters too much, but again, you get to that level and it's just like it's way easier to do stuff that you want to do, just because there's more legitimacy. But like, I definitely as far as view counts, definitely as high in the millions as I can get. I mean, it'd be great to have like 10, 20 million views at that point. I mean, especially if I have the massive library of content that I'm constantly pushing out. It's kind of where it should be. If it's not there, might be a issue, So that's kind of where I want to be. I think content wise, it'll definitely grow over time. In 2 years time, I would love to have more people on. So it's not always me in the videos. So more kind of moving again towards like Corridor Crew or Linus Tech Tips, like kind of a mesh of that, where there's other people like an audio expert or this person that's on this, and we go test it out and they're all helping make content for the channel. And I'm in the I'm in the videos, or I'm in the videos I need to be, kind of like how like Linus Tech Tips would be, where he's just kind of floats to different things going on. So that's what I'm kind of hoping in the next couple of years. So it's not just all me. I could, from there, if there's other people on it, I can make better content because I'll have more information, more expertise on the channel. So that's kind of the goal in 2 years.
I reckon you can get to the 100K pretty quickly, because I remember in a previous channel that I was part of, like, we started off quite small, but then you get them hit videos, and then I think as soon as you reach that 10K mark, like we got the 100K within a year of that, which is pretty cool. But that is kind of like, once you hit that 100K, there's not tons of content creators in the camera and tech, or I wouldn't say tech space, but like in the camera space, which have got to that level yet. There are quite a lot which are under the 100K. Like I think even, is it Epic Like Media? They only got it like within the last few months. And they're very viral kind of people.
I think some of them kind of like, because there's a lot of like ones in the 20s and 30s, right? And it's weird. I feel like some of them, again, I think some of these people just like are really talented and they've just kind of stumbled into it, but they don't necessarily know how to do YouTube. Because I think that's the hardest thing for like super artistic videographers, cinematographers, to try to do YouTube, because it's like, it's kind of beneath me to try to do YouTube kind of content. So I think that's kind of why sometimes they don't focus on SEO with it. They don't focus on like how to make content that is watchable on YouTube to get those like, because I'm sure at the end of most of my videos, you'll notice that I always have, it's like very fast at the end. It's like you barely know it's going to be the ending. And then I'm recommending another video. And then there's like little tricks like that to keep people watching your content and stuff that like I've invested a lot of time into learning how to do and implementing in my videos and script writing and making sure videos don't drag too long, even though there's some videos I still do that on and I'm like, I got to pick up the pace a little bit with some stuff. So I think that's kind of where I'm hoping I have the advantage, is just the how much I've invested into the SEO and then building the content to be a certain way for YouTube consumption. So, which I think that, I mean, I would assume that's why a lot of people kind of plateau in that, because they have they make that one really good video or really cool videos, and then it's just kind of like they kind of just go along. Where, you know, view count wise, I do watch some other people within that like 30 to 50,000 subscriber range, and like different, just to see how my channel is doing comparatively to how they're doing. I mean, view count wise, I'm fairly similar, especially recently,
which is really, really good.
Yeah. And then even subscriber growth too, like above subscribers per month and stuff. Cause it's just like a focus on, again, I've always said, I love filming. I love doing all that, but I really am trying to be like a videographer on YouTube. Like, you know, not like Peter McKinnon, but I'm going to play into those YouTube tropes. I'm going to play into like how to make YouTube videos. I'm not just going to like, oh, I'm too high above making content on YouTube to come down to, because it's marketing. It's like you reach people where they're at, and you bring them the kind of content they're expecting to find on YouTube, and entertaining. Like it's informative content, but if you're not entertaining, what's the, you have to be entertaining somehow. So
right.
Yeah, that's kind of how I kind of see it going. But yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
So to wrap up, I want to do a little word association / missing word or complete the sentence kind of thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to say some things and you just tell me either the rest of the sentence or the missing word.
Okay.
Okay. You ready? Okay. So Blackmagic cameras are
great. Are out of this world.
That's such a weak. Oh, okay. Good.
Out of this world. Yeah.
Okay. Grant Petty is
a wizard.
Okay, this is good. Okay. The most important thing to understand about YouTube is
have fun.
Oh, okay. The most important thing to happen in my life was
getting fired professionally.
Well,
yes.
Dane Voyager is going to be so upset you didn't say like getting married or
I was assuming
her.
Getting married. Yes. Professionally, getting
aside
fired.
Aside from the obvious ones, then getting fired.
Yeah, I thought you didn't say.
Yeah. My dream collaboration would be with.
Oof, that one's hard. Corridor Crew or with Joshio. Joshio would be pretty fun.
Even after you made that video about him?
I didn't make a horrible... No.
I know, it's not bad. Oh, yeah.
No, they admitted to the fact that they didn't know how to use dual native ISO too, so,
Yeah, they did. That's true. Cool. So thanks so much, John, for spending the time answering my questions and sitting down having this interview with me. Can you tell everyone where to find you and what maybe a fun comment that they can write on one of your videos after they've watched this video?
Then, okay, that's a great idea. So you can find me on YouTube or website. Just type in, honestly, you just type in Frame Voyager on Google and I should be showing up, or Frame Voyager in YouTube, and you'll find all my content there. So yeah, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to let me know you watch this video, comment, hashtag monster sponsor Frame Voyager. Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Thanks for watching that episode of Exposed. If you want to see more videos just like this, click the playlist right here. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to another camera channel.